Whoa, the hiccups were real. Sorry about that. But we're back.
Oh, yeah. Yep, we're back and we're listening to a tracked mode for NBA Jam on the arcade.
Well, hell yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. We're right in time for our last segment. Really, and we're going to get through this one quick. I'm going to put on the Helldivers because we're going to be talking PlayStation.
Oh, baby.
Now, it's nobody who's there right now. But we're talking about the
Your current employees.
Yes, but he was previously there. And he's been in the news quite a bit these days. It's our good buddy Sean Layden.
Oh, yes. Former suit, former big shot boss man.
Indeed, and he's in an interview from YouTube channel Kiwi Talks. Now, Layden, he's been outspoken about his views on the video game industry today, most notably in the absence of the quote-unquote AA game, whatever that might mean. But, he shared a couple of insights and on a few things going on in the industry at the start of the new year, and it's a little bit interesting to think about. It's good to have these things to chew on because it's the beginning of the new year, and just as things are getting into swing, it's important to remember that everything that has happened, historic layoffs, huge amount of brain drain, the things like Dragon Age the Veilguard, games like Concord, all these things still happen, and they really do affect everything. And among topics, such as naming conventions of the PlayStation hardware, questions on if Sony would ever attempt a Smash Bros. Style crossover like they did with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, by the way, Sean Layden concludes that the idea would be a non-starter for a new PlayStation All-Stars, so sorry. But,
yeah, guess that's not going to happen.
Nah, but here were some interesting talking points about disc-based consoles, rivals in Nintendo and Microsoft, and the apparent demise of the quote-unquote live service gaming business model as seen with the launch of Concord. And you know what? He makes a great point about the nature of the live service game with the comment, quote, "The problem we see in the market, and we didn't have the data on this before, so we're learning this in real time, I believe is how live service games can be successful at one moment." How many live service games, can be successful at one moment? The answer is obviously not 20. And you know what, Drix? This is true. Concord was not the only live service game to be shut down relatively soon after launch, right? You know, you got Rumbleverse, you got Multiverses just shut down after coming back from like a closed beta.
Yeah, our X-Defiant.
X-Defiant.
The ones we've lost.
We Hardly Knew Ye.
Maybe some Gundam games. Too.
Yeah, a couple of Gundam games like Battle Operation, or those games just go away.
Yeah, never to be heard from again. Play them all you can.
Yeah, all these games have relatively short lifespans, and you know what, Drix? That's to say nothing of games like commercial flops, like Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, or not Sea of Thieves, but what's the other one? The
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, yeah. So those games were commercial flops. So it goes to show that it doesn't matter if you really try to put a premium service like our premium experience right up front. Live services, they just don't. Having a lot of them is probably not in the cards, because he continues, quote, "I don't think people play 4 or 5 live service games at the same time. You're all in on 1 or 2, and that's it. So if you're going to come out with another one, you're trying to get people to come over here and stop spending so much time doing that thing you love to come over here and try this thing you don't know." That's a hard proposition, and I agree.
Oh, yeah. Big time. That is absolutely what you were doing. You have to try to take somebody from Fortnite or from Call of Duty or from Marvel Rivals.
And you know, those games...
I'm not playing more than 2 or 3 live service games at once.
I mean, it depends on what you mean by playing more than 2 or 3 at once, because I play like 3 live service games on my console and like 3 on my phone. So like...
Yeah, right.
So
diversify your interests.
Those are my live service things. But you know, on the note of disc-free console generation. Layden, he's not sold.
No, neither am I.
Yeah, and because he says, quote, PlayStation is the #1 platform in probably 170 countries around the world. They have a responsibility to ask, quote, if we go discless, how much of my market is not able to make that jump, unquote, which is a good frame of reference to point to. He elaborates as he remembered about talking about going discless on the PS4 that far back. Quote,
Oof.
one of the most significant markets is professional athletes. They have so much downtime before their games in their hotel room, and they aren't supposed to go out drinking. They're on curfew. They're all taking their consoles with them. Military, and he also says military bases and other territories, such as Italy, where high-speed internet is not readily accessible, are also reasons he cites for PS6 to not be all digital from day one.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Like, I might need a little CD jewel bag case, with all my games in it for when you travels.
And and here's another good point is that we like to think I guess in like Western countries or consumer markets, let's say that consumer driven markets, we like to think that our like the hardware and the software that runs on that hardware are the same thing. And in a lot of ways they are, but in a lot of ways they're really not. And even if your argument is, well, you're only getting a license for the game when you're on your disc or anything like that, you don't actually own it regardless. At that point, you might be able to have the luxury to say, yeah, I don't own the game. But tell that to somebody like Sean Layden is saying in like Italy, who maybe is in the countryside, and they
don't have an Ethernet cable at hand,
Yeah, or like your ISP is like literally like in the city and you're in the village. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, good luck downloading a whole game, an EA-sized game or some Sony-sized game.
And there you go. That's the importance of that market. And finally, when asked about his opinion on Xbox and their multi-platform strategy, Layden responded with, "It's a balancing act. On one hand, I'm increasing my addressable market, and that's good. On the other hand, it's making it hard to sell anything on platform exclusivity."
Yeah. Huh.
And then here's the death blow for me, Drix. He elaborates on this. We've seen this before. I mean, I was in the business when Sega brought their Dreamcast titles to PlayStation 2, and in time, Sega became a software-only company, and it's been a great transformation for them.
Been there, done that, huh?
And we'll end. We're gonna end the show. That's our final bit of gaming news. So we'll end the show in a minute here, but I just want to say something really quick. We've been talking about it for about the better part of a year here on CFM Radio. That, I'm an old school Sega guy. Drix is a PlayStation guy who's, we both grew up in this time where these consoles really had defined identities, and a lot of people will be, oh man, but maybe this is like, nothing like this has really happened before. Like,
Sega had to do what Nintendo don't.
Yeah, and honestly, Sega did everything that they could. They innovated. I would argue that the reason why you have an idea like Game Pass is because the Sega channel existed. And
No, they're way ahead of their broadband internet.
Yeah.
On like the Saturn and the Dreamcast.
Yeah, and Netlink, you know what I mean? Like, you had all these ideas that were really pushing the envelope, and Nintendo didn't really do any of that. They really focused on the games and the hardware, and then at the end of the day, Sony came in and blew everyone out of the water. So it really, when you have a guy who's been in the business as long as Sean Layden, and he says, hey, you know what, guys, I've seen this before. It looks an awful lot like Sega, don't it?
Oh man, yeah, that's got to tell you something.
That's
you know,
that's a bit of a clue.
The writing is on the wall, son.
Yeah, and I hate to be like a downer, right? I don't want to be like, oh man, everyone bought an Xbox for nothing, right? Ha 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 ha. Nah.
No. Keep them.
Yeah, honestly, keep those. You
Mod
know,
'em.
they're good machines, and honestly, as a former Sega kid, hold on to all of your old hardware because emulator or not, there will be games that will not play the same. No matter how far flung we are into the future, Sega Saturn emulation is still okay at best.
Yeah, man, that is crazy. Like some stuff runs great, some stuff just chugs along, and maybe never to be seen again.
And it's not even about any sort of like hardware generation, because the next generation up, the Dreamcast, cracked everywhere. That a modern day Dreamcast can run a Thomas Wave arcade hardware. Like what?
So good.
Like
yes, more of that.
So
more of this energy.
Always make sure that you hold on to those consoles. Always make sure that you hold on to those things, because at the end of the day, when you pop a disc that's made for the machine into it, it's gonna play it to the best of its ability. And a lot of the times, those consoles are the best ways that you're going to be able to play the game, because it was made for it.
Yeah. We all know that time traveler from the future who says, I am limited by the technology of my time.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be limited by the technology of your time. Hold on to it, because even if Xbox does go down, you hear a lot about from Phil Spencer these days. Oh, the next generation, biggest leap in generational hardware. Great. Where's the games? When's the next big blockbuster? Because you got Halo coming onto the PlayStation. So where's your Hail Mary?
Yeah. When's Starfield going to be on PS5, guys?
Seriously. But anyway, that'll do it. Remember, Rift of the Necro Dancer out right now, PC Steam exclusive. Go play it. If you don't have a good PC, if it's a potato, you're watching this on your phone, you could play one of the 2 games that comes out tomorrow. Under Defeat looks awesome.
Yeah, and if you're not picking up anything new, get yourself some physical media if you haven't already. Never let go and play retro.
Never let go, play retro, and don't forget, buy the disc version.
I know I will. Be buying several discs very soon.
And we'll see you guys soon. That'll be next week. Remember, twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch. We'll be on the grind live on next Tuesday. Keep it here. Make sure you're following us over there. Subscribe over here. Always give us that like. Always give us those follows. Always, always, always help us out on social media. Likes, follows, retweets, all that great stuff. Give us the hearts on Instagram. Comment on the TikTok. Do it all.
Yeah. Love it or hate it. I want to know.
I want to know.
Got any requests? Drop them.
Drop them in there. But for now, have a good night.
Good night, everybody.